Good morning, guys. Well, it's not really morning anymore. It's 2:13 p.m., but I guess I have been up since the early morning. Just been lying around watching YouTube videos, and then a couple hours ago I started just cleaning up the place. I'm just starting to well, basically for the past few days I've just been sorting through Mike's stuff, and there's still a bunch of Jason's stuff here as well. Just been sorting through it, seeing what little bits and bobs I could use. I just want to make sure that Jason gets all his dad's tools. Having something like that, it would come to mean a lot to him later in life. I sure wish that I had more than just memories from my dad. But yeah, just heading to the supermarket now to spend my final money on chicken nuggets. We're gonna have chicken nuggets with pasta and béarnaise again, and that's gonna be the end of it. Yeah, pretty sure. I don't know what I'm gonna do about money. I'll figure it out. Well, here we go, guys. Spent my last money on chicken nuggets and milk for the gravy. Just listening to some Mobb Deep, riding around in a new location to me. I wonder if this was some kind of Viking related stuff here. Could very well be. Some guys gave me a cigarette. Oh, I'm so happy. I've been all out of cigarettes, all out of everything for a good little while. I promised myself I'd stop. Something fell into my wheel well. I promised I'd stop myself after I finished whatever I had left. Now that Mike's died, I've kind of been thinking of mortality differently. And I do want to stop, but I think a good start is not buying it myself, right? At least that's what I like to tell myself. But yeah, I'm just out on a ride with my, I usually wear this on my neck. I just felt like hiding my hair today. I don't know why. Looks like I wasn't the only one in great need of a haircut. Check this guy out. He definitely needs it. I'm just watching a video about the InMotion P6, the electric unicycle. It basically came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere and it just humbled everything. And from InMotion, no less, the company known for never, building a racing wheel. I mean, they had the B13. But yeah, great wheel. Very excited about where this technology is going in the future. I was too hungry, man. I couldn't wait. So I just made our dinner now. I just finished editing the video from last week, exactly a week ago, where Mike went to the hospital. And I can't help but kind of blame myself a bit for being so, well, I wasn't exactly hard on him. I took issue with how the journey kind of halted at times, and how he, basically just wanted to stay here and hang around and, just hang out with his friends and his son. And I didn't quite get it. I thought, we're gonna go out and travel the world. Come on, let's go. So I have expressed, some negative opinions about him in the videos, but you don't even see 90% of what's happening. I mean, for the most part, I'm enjoying myself with him. It's just, this is a great place to let out frustration and to talk about the journey and what kind of updates are happening. And of course, there's some level of frustration there when things are not moving along in the pace that you want them to. So I have expressed some level of frustration over him and, his general conduct, the way he was living his life. I also didn't want to edit those parts out. Of course, I didn't know he was going to die right around the corner, but regardless, I wanted this to be as truthful of a documentation of how I'm living, how I'm traveling. And I guess a part of that is also showing the frustration that I did have. Even though it was so understated, the level of frustration that I had, that for the most part, like I just mentioned one or two things to him, and he responded, and it was all good. It was fine. It was a little frustrating still, but in the grand scheme of things, it made good sense. And I think he had a feeling that something was coming up. Even when we began the journey, it just kind of didn't feel like that's what he really wanted to do. I mean, I believe he wanted to do the journey with me, in the sense that he didn't have much time left and he could probably sense it to some degree, and he wanted to have those experiences with me. He just didn't have the time to actually go through with it. But at least he got a taste of it, and he helped me out big time, sending me on my way on my journey. First by investing in all the stuff for the electrical setup, and then by helping me with fronting the money for the electric unicycle. I mean, without him, I would have been a completely different place right now. Both in my own personal life, I've grown up with this guy, but also when it comes to this journey specifically, he's helped me out big time. And all he ever asked of me, which I get it, it is kind of a big request, but he just said in case something happens to him, in case he dies, that, and he didn't even directly request it, he just said that he would appreciate if I would, look after his son and his baby mama. And of course, I told him as much. I told him, of course, I will. I mean, of course, it's not really realistic for me, especially in my economic situation. No address, no job. It's not really realistic for me to raise his son. And no offense, I love the guy, but I kind of want my own sons as well. But I don't really think that's what he would have wanted, regardless. But I'll definitely try and do my best to be a good uncle and to be available and to talk with Jason about the hard things, and also about the nice things, about the good things about his dad. I knew him better than most, I think. I've known him throughout every period of his life since he was 8. But yeah, I've just been kind of feeling a little bad about how much frustration I've voiced about him on this channel, because in the grand scheme of things, my level of frustration over him isn't really that great. Like, it's not that much frustration. It's just something that in the moment I felt like I needed to say to not bullshit. But you also saw me stuck around with him, I did stick around with him, and I did compromise a lot because I could see that he was actually helping me out. And even when he realized, because of personal stuff, um, that he had to stay behind to be there for his son. I mean, even when he told me black on white, listen, I cannot come with you, even though I really want to, I always kind of knew that to begin with, that we wouldn't get beyond the Danish borders. But yeah, I guess I'll just have to see twice as much of the world and somehow still figure out a way to be able to help out Natya and Jason economically. And also, not more than just that, I want to help her out with looking over him, taking care of him whenever she has something to do in her personal life. She should not feel alone in this time. It's got to be a terrible feeling. They've been on and off since they were teenagers. It cannot be easy. Especially because he was with Kiki when everything went wrong. She didn't even get her chance to reconcile. I mean, they did reconcile. Like, they were on good speaking terms, on good parental terms, but yeah, she never got to have him back. I'm just glad I got all this time with him towards the end. It almost doesn't feel right that I got to have this much time with him towards the end, but at least his other best friend and his son and a ton of other people, they also got to be around him in the final times. Dion too. But yeah, now that video is uploading, it was difficult to edit, but thankfully his other best friend came by and gave me a few cigarettes. Still have to go to the funeral. This is a little weird, but I've been feeling a little guilty on a very illogical, almost spiritual level because I remember maybe half an hour or so before he keeled over, like he fell forward. Uh, Maybe half an hour, maybe a little more, maybe a little less before then, I just got this very melancholic, like this deep, stinging, melancholic and somber emotion just washed over me. And I paused the guys at what they were doing on the computer. And I was like, yo, guys, I'm getting like a really melancholic and somber emotion. I'm getting in an emotional and melancholic state over here. I'm just thinking that everyone we know, if we live long enough, everyone we know are gonna die eventually. And I mean, his other best friend didn't really react so much. He just continued what he was doing on the computer. But Mike, he had this, I don't know, this kind of startled look. He just wanted to talk about something else immediately. And then, not a half an hour later, that shit happens. And I remember when I got that melancholic feeling washing, it was more than a feeling. It was just like permeating every cell of my body, like that feeling of something just being wrong, something just being off or dangerous or dire or something like that. And I just remember being particularly worried for my siblings and my mother. And I don't know, I just had a bad feeling that something bad would happen basically any time now to one of them. And I sent my mom a message on Facebook immediately when I got that feeling, considering she's the oldest one of the people I was thinking of, the one most statistically likely to have any kind of altercations, medical issues with, stuff in the past that could flare up. So I sent her a message just saying I love you and a heart. And of course, it's not that I did anything. It's not that I willed for her to survive and so that in extension he would have to die, but at some spiritual level, I don't know, I just can't help but feel a little guilty for sending my, what can you call it, like metaphysical protection in her direction when really he was the one who needed it. I mean, I know, of course, none of this is scientific and it's all just in my own head, but eh, I've just never. I mean, I've had moments before in the past where I think about death and I become melancholic or somber, but I've never had it in that, you know, instinctual survival instinct kind of way where you have this overwhelming sense of instinct that takes over of you just have to survive no matter what or have the others survive. It just felt, I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it. It's just peculiar that I've never had an emotional outburst over thinking about life and death like that since maybe I was, starting to think about philosophy back in the day. Uh, Yeah, I don't know. I've just been feeling a little guilty for sending well, my, my thoughts and feelings of, basically trying to manifest nothing happening to my mother specifically, and then it happens to him. I don't know. When you start reshaping your worldview, I mean, I'm still scientific when it comes to stuff within this universe, but when you start altering your worldview in a greater sense, in a grander sense than what occurs within this universe, you can't help, you know, maybe put a bit more weight onto certain things that seem unscientific and it's as if they would not have any impact on reality. But I don't know. I do believe that will and intention can alter the outcome of stuff in the same way that whether or not there's an observer in a quantum mechanical. I mean, just think Schrödinger's cat. Schrödinger's cat is the perfect example here of where an observer can alter the result, where an observer is required for a result to materialize. I don't know.